Right, okay folks, today is a slightly different bit of a setup today. What we have here is an acrylic pad today. Let me just check, I want to check that yeah, that's okay, it's getting through. Right, the reason being is I'm going to do a realistic painting today, photorealism today. Well, close enough anyway, not quite, but close enough. And I'm going to begin it in acrylic. So I want the background to dry relatively quick today. Right, so in order to do that, I'm going to, this is a 3mm MDF board, and on it has been painted with gesso 3 layers and sanded in between each layer, so it has a nice smooth surface. And then I drew a rough drawing of the thing of the landscape. So what I will do this time is I'll put the reference photo up this time of what I'm painting here. Now the colors are cadmium yellow, cadmium red, raw umber, phthalo green, ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, black and white. Right, so to begin with, all I'll be doing here is laying in a mid-tone. Just at the beginning here, just a mid-tone. Now this palette tends to slip, and I don't know how to get it to stop this paper on the top. But anyway, so I want a greyish blue here. As I say, I want a mid-tone here. Okay, now I do not want this to be I don't want it to be too dark or anything like that. For me, this is going to be the underpainting. So we'll lay down some of the darks first. So let me see. Now, I think I'm a bit too bright here. Okay. Alright, let's see now where we are here. Bum, bum, bum. And as you will be able to see on the... I want to keep this rough too. As you will be able to see on the... from the reference photo, that I'm just keeping this a nice grey for the time being. And again, as I say, I want to keep it rough. I don't want to be covering it up too much. Now, I have been away for a while. So I have been taking a break, although you may not seem it to you because I keep putting up videos, but I haven't actually painted in about 5 weeks or something like that, so kind of feels a bit new to me. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. I'm sure you know what I mean. Right, okay. Now it all just feels a bit surreal, and I just need to take a bit of time off. I'm keeping this all nice and rough. Lots of abstract in it. I will be adding some directional grasses here in a moment, but for the time being, just keep this as is. Okay, now let me see. This is only going to be the underpainting. So okay, I'm talking here for the sake of talking, so I'm going to keep quiet for a moment here. It's never a good idea to talk for the sake of talking, is it? And there I go again. Ba-da-bum. Right, okay, let me just have a wee look at this. I want to see where I am. A little bit of phthalo, a little bit of saturation, and then knock it back a little bit with some umber. Maybe a bit brighter. Just up along the edges here. Okay. Certain dark patches in along the base here, just to give ourselves the shadows. Now, if you're following along here, which I kind of hope that you do at times, just slow everything down. Just stop the video. Take as many pauses and as many breaks as you need to see what's going on. It will help. Oh, it will. Nice blues. Going to keep some things saturated. I would like to see this blue along here. I would like it to be showing through the finished painting. Okay. MK. Okay. Right. That's enough of that nonsense now. Right. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Now over in this corner here, just want a little bit of grey here, bit of a grey-green, just up in here. Having some of that red that I put down, having it pop through. Now you can see how completely abstract this is. That's the goal for the time being. A nice abstraction. Just to go over what you're already laying down. You don't have to worry about too much about blending or anything at this stage. Now I'm going to have a wee look at the trees. I'm going to change my brush. Just have a wee look at my trees. Well, actually, before I do, I'm going to have a wee look at some directions here, some directional grasses. If I just give myself a second there. Okay, just let me see. All I'm going to do is just put in the idea of things going in a particular direction, just like so. Now, it's hard for you to notice that. You see them here, just things in a direction. I'll tell you, I'll maybe change my brush here. Actually, you can't see. You should be able to see that. Yeah. There we go. You have a hint of things going in this way and going in this direction. All right, now back to up into the trees here. Now, please keep in mind that this is just the underpainting. And that's all we're doing here. Just putting up a little bit of a base to work around. Right, I'm going to spray a little bit of water along here. Help keep it a bit wet. And I've got an alarm here, just a wee second. Okay. So far so good, getting there. Want some cool in these areas here, some dark cools along here. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to... What am I going to do now? And, before I begin to work on the sky, I'm going to just finish the edges of these trees. I don't want to go too far into the sky with this. Actually, a bit darker than that, I think. As I say, I'm not going to be going too far up into the sky. I will let the sky come down into the trees here. Nice and cool greens here for the time being. And off in the distance we have some... And let me brown that out a little bit, or grey that out a little bit. I think I'm going to have to get myself some more blue out. It's okay for the time being. I'm not used to working with acrylics. I don't mind them. I think they're fine. I don't mind acrylics at all. I just don't use them often. I use them whenever I want them. I want it to be quick and be a quicker job. But the only time I ever really use them is for that reason. Right, you're off in the distance there, and you'll do there for now. Right, so I'm going to clean off one of my brushes and get this gay colour in. Right, okay. A bit of a pinkish to begin with. And grey it out a little bit with what's on the palette. A little bit of the blue too. Let me see. Yep, not so bad. Now I'm going to stay back. No, I'm just going to go into it. I keep forgetting that this is acrylic, so it will not blend too well. So it won't, which is what I'm hoping for at this stage. There we go. Now, a little bit of the blue. There we go. And what I want to do is just work that in. Soften that edge a bit. This is a dry brush. And I'm just softening these edges a bit before it dries up. There we go. Now, just a little bit more down at the base here. A little bit darker. A little bit more purple. Have I picked up the wrong brush? I picked up the wrong brush. Not too bad though, not too bad. Oops, excuse me. Let me see now, just down in here. Nah, it's a bit. Yeah, I need a bit more blue. So I does, so I do, so I do. I need my blue, so I do. Maybe a little bit more black as well. Well, where is my black? Black, 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 black. Black, 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 black. There we go. Oh, 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 oh. It won't come out. There we go. Mm-hmm. All right, now just going to be lying down this here. This will be the reflections, or not the reflections. What am I talking about? This is the water. It's the water. You can see that it's the water. What am I doing? What am I saying? I'm talking nonsense. Right, I want to bring that grass over a little bit more. Just along here. Right. Now, I want to get in the idea of moss here, yeah, or algae. Just the idea of it for the time being. Let's see where we are. Just a very saturated green in here. This is quite a transparent green. So I'm going to put a lot of, well, it's all transparent actually. I'm going to put a lot of yellow in this. There we go. Just along there. That should give you the idea of where I'm going with this. See? A bit darker maybe. I think it's a bit too... There we go. Let me see. That's a bit better. At least it's marked for it, eh? It's not the way to look at it. We have it marked for its place here. Okay, now I just want to add in some darks, some directional planes as well, just here and there. Now let me see. Make sure my brush is ready. Okay. Just laying in some of the shadows. Actually, excuse me for a moment while I dry this with the hairdryer. Okay then, so let's get in some of the nice darks here. Just in the directions. And some of the grass is going to be going. Just in there, like so. And now, I want to get the same on the other. Now I'm almost done with this underpainting. Okay, let me see. I'm just thinking to myself, folks, just thinking away to myself. Yeah, okay. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. And all I'm doing here is just graying out these edges a touch, just to give myself a wee bit of room whenever I'm... Now I think I've gone too far there. I believe that I might have done. That's a bit better. Okay, now as I say, I think that will probably be it, as I just carry on creating some shapes here. Just have that come. Oh, right, okay. Just see a wee spot here that I could create this some more darks and shades along here. All right, okay. Now you can see that. You can see a tree in front of a tree, or a bush, whatever you wish to call it. And for the time being, I think that'll do. So I'll see you when I'm coming back to finish this off. Bye for now. Okay, folks, right, now this is completely dried now, so I'm going to move into the oil paint side. I've got some Galkite out here instead of liquid. It dries a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go for a not quite pink, but near enough pinky sky here with a blue area on it here. Let me see, a little bit of a grey in it as well. So a little bit of raw umber, and a little bit of cadmium red. Just I'll be able to use this white a little bit later to grey some things out. So let me see where we are here. Now, is that... Just thinking, folks. Just thinking out loud. Now, if I got the right glasses on, I does. Okay, let's see here. Now, the beauty of doing it this way is that a lot of this will be covered up, and I can still blend with the oil paints here. As you can see, I'll be putting in very thin layers this time, quite thin layers. Let me see now. There's a nice blue up the top. Now, it should just help me work that in a little bit. Now, nice and soft, folks. Get that sky to be nice and having a nice soft transition here. There we go, look at that. Nice, yeah, yep, very good. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken these areas here. I put some of the darks in, and I'm going to use an old Chinese ink brush. It's an Aquafine from Dale Rowney. And all I'm going to do is put the darker areas in little bits and bobs and dabs and doobs and deep below doobs and all that nonsense. So it's going to be a transparent layer. So raw umber and cadmium blue. I want it more blue than grey here. So let me see now. This brush may not work. I haven't used this brush in a while. I can see just where we are. Now let me see. You can't see that, yes. Okay, now this is what I'm going to do in this video. For a while I'm going to stop talking, because this is going to be a long video. I don't know quite how long. A little bit of phthalo in it, just to get the green into it. That's not the reason, they get the cool into it. Anyway, so yeah, I will be stopping this video, or stopping talking in the video from time to time, and depending on the length of the video, I will most likely speed it up in certain areas, but we'll see. So yeah, that's what I'll do now. Is I will just keep quiet here for the time being as I do this, and I'll just cover the whole canvas with this. I'll mute the video and I'll see you when I'm back. Okay, right, what I'm going to work on here now is some of the foliage. I'm going to stay away from the edges of the foliage until this is tacked up a little bit more than what there is there. So let's begin this. Let's work on this and see. Just want to create some shapes at the time being, for the time being. Now, let me see. I don't think that is... Is it bright enough? Is it bright enough? I don't think it is. I'm going to make it just a little bit brighter. A little bit colder as well. Did I say colder? It's not what I meant. Let's see where we are here. Now, I'm just using, this is an old dagger brush, and I'm just using the corner of it just to lay this down. Trying not to be too bitty, you know. I don't want it to be, I don't want to look as if I'm painting every single leaf. So I do just want the corner of this. Probably a bit looser, so I'll use some of that Galcade just to loosen it up a touch. Now the Galcade has been sitting in its jar for some time and it has somewhat thickened. If you find that that's the case, what you can do is, just give me a second, what you can do is add some spirits to it, and that should help thin it out a touch. Okay, now, I don't want every shape to be the same. That's important. And what I mean by every shape, I mean every shape of brush stroke I'm putting down, like so. If I put this, just for toxic, put this here, I don't want that beside it, the same shape beside it. So I'm kind of varying the brush a little bit here and there to try and create different shapes. Okay, now as you can see, it's beginning to work over in this area. So let me see now. I just want to create a bit of a grass verge here. No, not yet, not yet. I'm getting ahead of myself, So let's just carry on doing what I'm doing. Now, one thing that I have to remember is that the tree is going to come out further. There's going to be little edges on it whenever this dries up a bit. So I need to keep that in mind. Alright, now. Okay, so I'm going to make myself a bit of a darker thing here and just create some more shapes. Just want to kind of glaze and scumble these ones in. Alright, now that's too dark. I can see that straight away without much hassle. That's too dark up in here. Right, that's taking it back a bit. That's better. Now, I just want to give it a nice little softening. I do not want that to be, and I'll come back with a bit of highlights. Not too strong of a highlight. That's okay, near enough okay as it is. But I'll come back with a little bit more later. Now, as I say, I'm gonna work in this area here. I want to stay away from here for the time being. Excuse me a second. Now, let's work on this area here, okay? So, same brush, slightly different, more saturated color, slightly warmer. Still have some of the oxide red, and just to knock it back a bit. Some of this Galcade. I think this is too bright, but we'll see. Okay, up here now. And that's fine, that seems okay. So let's create. Now look at that, I'm not keen on the shapes that I'm creating here. So I'm gonna just redefine my brush here and see. Nice and gently now. I just want to get the outline of this tree. Okay. Yeah. Is that a wee sticker there? Let me see just. Okay. Now I don't think that's bright enough, but that's okay. I'm fine with that at the time being. I can highlight it, of course. I just made this a little bit of a slightly different green here. Okay. And the same over here. Maybe a bit cooler as I'm moving into the shadows here. Slightly cooler, a little bit ultramarine blue. Now ultramarine blue is a warm blue, but when it sits beside a cooler color, or when it sits beside a warmer color, it looks cool. Okay, so let's see where we are here. I need some darks in around here a little bit more, but I'm okay. I'm doing all right. This is catching on rightly here. Now, what I want to do, I almost forgot, is just soften this area a touch. Okay. All right. So what I'll do before we go any further, actually, I will darken this area a touch. So I will up in here. I'm going to do it with almost pure blue. I want it nice and cold in the corner in here. A bit of phthalo in it. Okay, keeping that nice and cool in the corner. Right, now let's see where we are here. I think I'll use this brush and see how this comes off with creating an edge. Phthalo green is an incredibly strong color. You really don't need much of it, and I am always in the very bad habit of putting too much of it out when I don't need to. I always kind of do that to myself. And again, just a little softening. We're getting there. I do want this to be nearly dry before I work on the little edges of the trees. Right, so now I'm going to work along here. And let me see, where are we? For the most part, this is all just slight coloration along here, just for the time being. I think. I'm just thinking to myself, folks. Just thinking out loud. Right, so where's that other wee green one? So some phthalo and some white to get that cool green. A little bit of cadmium in it. Helps saturate it a little bit, warm it up a little bit. And let's see what I can work with here. Now what I think I need to do is lay down a little bit of darks here and there. Not too many, just some. Especially in the bits where I haven't actually painted, you know, you want to be covering those up a touch. If you know what I mean. The bits that I missed is kind of what I mean. Okay. Right. Now. So a nice saturated green here at the front. Let me see, just. Look at that. Now, of course, a lot of this will be covered up. Oh, all right. But hopefully not too much of it, because the look of it is good, you know. Look at that. Now it creates a nice embankment. That just give me a wee second. I think I have something stuck to my little toe. It does. Right, now let me just move over to this side. What I'm going to do over here, I'm just going to get myself a nice dark green and lay it down. Maybe not too saturated though. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of semi shape this a little bit. Just going all over the place, but also having some movement in particular directions. Again, not covering it up. Let me see. Okay, for now. Now, I just want to get this in place right beside this wee area here that I like. I was only putting that down just as a wee test. This area here, I like it, but I want to put a little bit in behind it, a slightly different color. Look at that. Just so they work together. That little long grass patch there, working with this little long grass patch here. Very nice. Okay, now, right. I'm going to work on the algae here, and then I'm going to work on reflections, and then the water. And I will let that dry and leave that for the thing for the rest of the details. Right, so I'm just going to go quiet for a bit here. I'll be back shortly. Okay, now I'll start working on the sky reflections here. Still an awful lot of work to be done. Don't want to blend it in too much. I'm going to be a wee bit more cautious over here. Maybe darken that in certain areas a little bit. In fact, you know what? I think I will do that now. Just little sharper areas. And not too transparent, I have to say. Just so that I can stick in some grasses to get that more realistic look about it. I think I just slightly overdid it with the green there. But you know what? Nothing wrong with that, because you can always come back and fix it. That's the beauty of painting. It is a wonderful lesson in that everything can be fixed. Wonderful lesson in that for anybody, is this, so you can tell them, yeah, just fix it. I don't know, I'm just rambling. I just ramble all the time. But sure, eh? Rambling Rose. A little bit more over here too, just to create some interest. I'm following the reference photo quite closely, as you can see, but I will also be adding, well, I don't know, I'm not going to say something now and then not do it, but I might add just some of my own little touches here and there, but we'll see. For the time being, I like the look of it. Now I have another alarm going. So let me see. Okay. So let's get the sky in here, the water in a bit more precisely. Now, a little bit of a violet. Just move this out of the way for myself. It slightly darkens at the base, down along here. Let me see. Now, do I want it darker than that? Excuse me. Yes, I think I do. Just a little bit darker. Just along here. Lovely. Nice colors. Nice tones. Cools and darks. Darks and cools. Now where do I want this to go up to? I think I'm only gonna, yeah, I'm gonna bring the grass out to here as it is in the photograph, if you can see. So just bring this up till about to here, I think. Maybe a bit higher. It's almost a scumbling action, this. Almost. Not quite, but nearly. Okay, now just smooth this out a touch. And don't be, I don't want to be too fine with it. I like it being a touch rough there, It is water, so it being a wee bit rough there will indicate a tiny bit of movement in it. Now, what I'm going to do here is just lay in this. That's too pink, too pink. Right, so a little spot over here. Just use that. Well, that was too pink, and I'm diluting it with some white here. Now, if you look at the photograph, you can see that it's cut off by some of that algae, and I think I'm just going to kind of do this till about here, and then just soften that up. Just soften those edges. Look at that. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Now let's bring that across. Now remember, I'm going to bring this in a little bit, but a lot of it is going to be covered up with grasses. So, oh, excuse me. Okay, now where was it there? Yes, I'm putting in some more of this this algae along here. As I say, a lot of it will be covered up with grasses coming in and out of it here and there. Right, okay, so what I do want to do is I want to just kind of add in some of the darker areas of this algae. Now there's a shading that I want to put in, by the way, not that it's not there when I'm going to put it in. Just a little shading in the backs of this here. Maybe a bit darker, not too darker though. Maybe a touch. Let me see, okay. All right, okay. Now, where's my dark brush? Here we go. Excuse the rustling. Okay. This is just up in here, just to create that kind of wiggly look, you know? That's all. Alright, let's close it off a little bit as well. Now, I will wait until things are dry before I properly give this the proper reflections that it deserves, you know what I mean? Now, I'm just going to soften these edges because this area here is a bit wet. So I'm just going to gently soften them, just so that I can come back a wee bit later, create some nice reflections of grass in them. Now, I don't know whether I should continue. See, I already have the colours on the palette here, and I don't know whether I should continue or just let it be for the time being. I think that I will just look at that. Wonderful the way that can come off the brush if you do it right. Just little strands of grass. Wonderful. Right. Okay. I'm still. I'm not going to completely give up at the minute here. I just want to add a little bit of texture. So I do to what is there. I'm going to use the same technique that I just done there now. So it needs to be a bit brighter than that, I think. Just a bit of texture all throughout the whole thing. All, as I say, a directional sense, kind of heading in this direction. But I don't want to go too far. It's very important to me that I don't go too far. Okay. And then I think the rest will just be grasses. Fixing up the edges here, and then just putting in some grasses. Right, what I want to do, it's kind of the similar thing on this side here with this. Now you can see that in the photograph, that little outcrop there. I'm just putting it in. I like the way it breaks up this line coming down here. Now this line coming down here is too straight for me. I just saw it there. This here needs to come out a bit. That's fine. That's an easy job. I'll actually do that now. So I will just bring this out a bit here. Just I got carried away in the process of it all. So I'm just going to bring this out. There we go. A bit better. Now, a little bit of dark at the base of it here. And that kind of still doesn't break it up as much as I want it broke up. So let me think. Here, let's bring it out a bit more. Okay, let me see here now. That's better. I'm happier with that. Just breaking it up a little bit. Now, anyway, back to what I was doing there. And just creating these grasses up along here. And anywhere else that I think I need this color, maybe a little bit down here. Just throughout this. And the same here, just Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, all of this still needs highlighted. We'll let this dry for a little bit. Now I'll come back and put in some more of the details. I will see you all soon enough. So, as the saying goes, bye for now. Okay, folks, right. I forgot about something. This is still just a couple of moments later. And what I forgot about was the edges of the trees. Now, I know I said it'll come back and do that, but what I mean by the edges of the trees here is the bits that breaking into the tree sort of dries, and then I can go over it with the other edges of the trees, the darker edges. Let me change my glasses. It'll all make sense in a minute. I promise. Right, so I just want to break into the areas here. Just to shape this parts of the tree along here. Just breaking all that up. You see? You see them in here, just. I had forgotten about this. And then tomorrow, I would have had to let it dry for another day or so before I got into it. But anyway, I remembered, so that's a good thing. Again, no real special brushes here, just if you've watched any of my previous videos, they're all pretty much the same brushes, except for the odd one here and there. They're just old brushes, and I don't think that you need. I mean, they're always nice to have expensive brushes. I'm not knocking them, don't get me wrong. I don't mean that at all, but I just don't think they're necessary. All the time. Of course, there are moments when a good brush will be necessary. Okay, now, have I done what I wanted to do? Yeah, I think so. I think what I'm going to do just is coming into here, just. Now, this will be quite a tedious part of it, I must say. But it's not much. I have no intentions of doing the whole thing like this. But there is a bit of it, all right. If I don't like the look of this, I will cover it up tomorrow. Now all this brush, it's a small. It's an artist brush. It's called, I don't know what that's called. Something. Size 2. Hold on, let me get my other glasses on. This is called the Ting? What the hell? Zooting, okay. Zooting this is called. It's a size 2, it's a small dagger brush. And I think that for the time being, that this will do it. This will do it. Okay, that will do for now. So we'll see you when this is all dried up a little bit. Bye for now. Right, folks, now this is a little bit later, maybe an hour or so for me. It's a little bit tacky, but up around here isn't dry yet, so I'll leave that until the next day. I'll leave that until tomorrow. What I want to do is put in some grasses along here so that I can highlight them as well tomorrow. Not too much. This might be a short one, but we'll see. But my main thing here is getting the relevant consistency. The proper consistency between, I want like an ink like consistency. And the brush that I'm using is a sword liner brush. It is Rosemary & Co. Shiraz or Shiraz sword. That's a 1/4 inch. So a little bit of spirits there. A little bit of raw umber just to knock the saturation out of it a touch. A little bit of oxide red too to do the same thing. Just to, and let me see. Now that's too similar-ish of a colour. I'll go and put a little bit of ultramarine blue in it as well. So let me see. Now, I definitely want a nice consistency. No, I'm not happy with this. This is not, it's not too bad. Look at that. It's kind of coming off, but it's not giving me exactly the way I want it. So it's not. A little bit brighter. Let me see now. The camera's in the way. I'm having to hold the brush in a strange position so as not to get in front of the camera. A little bit more. A little bit more spirits in it just to loosen it up a touch. Now, look at that. Look at those grasses that a sword liner can do. Now, I don't want to go into the waters just yet, but it is creating some lovely grasses there. Okay, so let's just get some straight up ones. And just cut them into a little bit there. Alright, now what I'm going to do is a few lighter ones, not many, or not too bright either, but bright enough to stand out a touch. But brighter than that, eh? You gotta be able to see it. Ooh, oh dear, oh dear. But working my way back to you. Right, okay. A little bit thinner. So it shape the brush a little bit better. And it should come off it a little bit better. Okay, now I just want to soften that up a touch. I'll use just a little bit of cloth there. Okay. Now I went a bit too far there, I must say, with that cloth. I'm going to take my time too. There's no rush. Look at that. Just creating that. As I say, I'm staying away from the water for the time being. Now I'm going to do a little bit over, but I'm going to use a different brush on this side. This is a rigger brush. Now I think this one's a bit too dry, but we'll see. Just not working the way I want it to. I need to get myself a liner brush. Here's another. Here's a funny old brush. This, I can't remember what this is called. If I, it is a liner brush, but I can't remember the name of it. It's a 00 anyway. If I remember the name of it, I'll put it down beneath. Put it in the description or something, or a subtitle or something. Right, so let me see just. Okay. And it's so scraggledy. It really does lend for lots of grasses. Now, I think I want to knock it back a bit. I think it's a bit bright. It is a bit bright, yes. Okay, that's not bad. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some darker areas in this place in here. So let me see. Let me get a nice wee round brush. Nothing, wee cheap round brush. Nothing special about it. So a little bit of black, a little bit of phthalo green, some galcade, and then let's just create some dark patches in here. Now these dark patches really lend to help me get more realistic looking. Because whenever you look at grass, there are some very dark patches right now in the middle. Look at that. Now my goal here is not photorealistic realism. My goal here is to create a painting that whenever you're 6 feet away from it, it looks realistic. But then as you get up closer, you start to recognize that it's, oh, that's actually a painting. That's my goal at the minute. Now I'm not happy with this here, so I'm going to knock it back a bit too. It's okay. It's okay for now. What am I doing? I need a better green than what I have. So let's get one. Let's make one up. A nice green. Green can be a difficult color to get right at times. Right, so let's see. That's a bit better. I'm happier with that now. And then, now, tomorrow, whenever the time comes, I will, of course, come along and highlight these blades of grass. Now, no, I don't like that. Just give me a wee second. Okay. Just getting a bit carried away with myself here. Right, so where did I leave this? Yes, now, as I say, I'm not too keen on this. So let's make myself a bit more keen on it. Okay. Now. And what I'll do, because of the current state of things, I will probably just leave this near enough as is. And then I do have a sense of grass happening here, but I will add some more darker areas in that I can fill up and cover over with a lot of grass is just covering over it. Okay. Now, I'm just going to work on this area here. So a blue, a phthalo, ultramarine blue, and phthalo green. Tiniest bit of galcade, and just work over here. Keeping it cool in certain areas. And warm in others, of course. Just for that contrast. Cause I'm working my way back to you, babe. Okay. And I think that I am but done. Apart from, I'll get a little bit of grasses put in. Where is my little brush? There it is. I just cleaning this off a bit. Now, okay, just in here. Bit greener, bit more phthalo in it. Now, I think my current situation is I am losing concentration. So I think I'm going to, that's fine. I mean, look at it comparatively to the photograph. And I'll get all that in soon enough, but I'm just not happy with this area here. So I am not. So I'm going to do something to make myself happy with it. Now, normally I'm quite positive if I came in and done something that I messed up this time I'm unsure if I would have been better just leaving it alone. So I'm quite unsure this time whether it was my fault. Well, of course it was my fault, I'm doing the work, but that's not what I mean. That is not what I mean. Right. So I think this time I'm just going to pay attention to what is actually there rather than what I hope is there. So I've got a little bit of a yellow patch along here, which I'm going to pay attention to, just here. Yeah, you see that now? Whenever you decide to pay attention. Okay, now. Let's get some grasses in just to... So nice and... It's too wet now, so it is. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it. I think I'll leave it until tomorrow. So the job that I came in to do didn't quite get done. Now this is the type of job that I lose myself. I sometimes don't have patience for this level of what am I trying to say? I don't have patience to spend on it for this length of time. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Right, that'll do for now. I'm going to wash these brushes off and I'm going to call it a night. And I'll let it dry for tomorrow and then I'll come back and work further on it. I don't know whether I'll finish it or not, but I will work further on it. So bye for now. Okay folks, now back to this one. Now I have a fan running and I know that this is picking it up, but it is to keep the things down, the humidity down. Anyway, back to this one. A wee bit of liquid on it, a bit of raw umber. Oh, I need to change my glasses. Right, now I'm going to be working up in this area here. I don't know how much of it I'm going to get done today, but all I'm using at the minute is a Da Vinci round, size number 4. We'll see how it fares. I'll give it a go. See how it turns out. A little bit greener. Now if you're following along, you'll see what this is. So you will... That's not so bad. A little bit more blue in it. Cool it down a bit. It's a wee bit further back. A little bit of atmosphere in it. Okay, so let's see. Now it's dry. The sky isn't entirely dry, but it's quite dry, so it is. So let us see. Now I'm going to be doing this color. I want to see what that's like. That's exact match for what's already down, so that's good. Now, what's going to happen here? Now it's a bit darker up around the edges there. It's a bit too dark for me. So I'm going to lighten it a little bit. I'll put a little bit of brightness in it. A little bit brighter than what I have it there. I'll never be blue, my dreams come true. Okay, that's a bit better. Alright, now, I'm just taking a moment to have a wee look. What I want to do I think I'm just going to highlight these areas first before I consider working on the edges. Now let me see, is that, it is a bit brighter. I don't want this to be all bitty, as it were. So I'm just putting it on. If you watch the motion, I'm not going to do it here, I'm just going to show you the action. I'm kind of putting it on and then flicking. And it's happening at a fast pace, so I'm just little bits. It's sort of, I'm putting it on and spreading it out a little bit as I'm going along. Now as you can see, that highlight is working quite well. Now look at that. That's, oh yes, I don't want to work on that too much now, so I don't. No, I don't. Right, I'm going to work close to the edge here, this area here. Just getting that in place for now. Put a little bit in around the edges. Okay, now what I'm going to do, if you look at the reference photo, the very edges of this are kind of a bluish grey. So that's what I'm going to be doing. A little bluish grey. I'm changing brush. Same brush entirely, but just a newer one. And I'm going to do the edges here, and that greyish blue colour. So, some cerulean, little tiniest bit of black in it, a little bit of raw umber. Let me see, and a bit of green in it as well. Almost there. A little bit more black. Let me see, I think that's it, but I don't think it's dark enough. No, I want it properly transparent too. So a lot of liquid in it. And let me see, that's not quite what I'm after. A little bit bluer. That's a bit better. There we go, I'll try this now. A bit later. A bit bluer. Getting there. Let me see. Ah, perfect. That's you now, that's it. Now let's start shaping some things here. And I don't want it all being, so I'm twisting the brush and just twisting it. I don't want it all being the same sizes and shapes. Now, I'm beginning to think it's not dark enough, so with a little bit of make it a bit darker, a bit grayer. Okay, I think the transparency of it knocked the made it a bit lighter than what it needs to be. Okay, so keeping your eye on that on the reference photo, just letting that come out, and I'm just thinking, folks, just thinking. Okay, I don't know if I'm happy with this or not, but I'm getting there. It's not the worst. Kind of okay. What I do think it needs, just a little bit more of the darker green in certain areas. Yeah, that's a bit better. Now, I think I'm almost done with this actually. I don't, as I say, I don't want it to be a carbon I want it to look exactly like the photo, but if I'm doing realism, kind of defeats the purpose then, doesn't it? But I still don't want it to be exactly, you know. Anyway, let me see. For the minute, I will leave that and I'll begin to work on the other one. So I will. Cool. Now, this is a cool green over here. All right. So same now. Just pointing the edges, just getting the edges all. That's up. Bum, just not bright enough. All right, just working it in, folks. Look at that. That's coming off nicely now. Getting happier with this. Dreaming while I drove. Right, okay. Enough of that singing nonsense. I'll get cancelled, apparently. You know, there's something very meditative about this type of painting. Something I find quite wonderful, actually. I find it quite enjoyable. Don't do it often. I might end up doing it a bit more, but I do enjoy it. It's very mind-consuming. I like it for that reason. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of sky in here. Just little bits. Just to let you know that it's there. And this is where the wee birds go and sit. Who was it that said that? Was it Bob Ross? All right. Okay. Now I want to work on the little tree beside it. So, a nice, slightly more moving, coming forward a tiny bit. A little bit more saturation on this one. Now, did I pick up the wrong brush? No, I didn't. A little bit more saturation. So some phthalo, some ultramarine, some yellow. They call me Melly Yellow. Okay. Now this one here is slightly different if you look at the shape of it. Okay. So I'm just going to be dabbing this one on. Just trying to be a bit let me see. Am I right there? Tiniest bit brighter, I think. Put a little bit of the sky in it. Just the tiniest bit brighter. Okay. Now this will be, I think this is my second, maybe third, this is my third pass on this. So I will most likely put a fourth pass on it. Such is the wonderful joy of this type of painting. You get to visit and revisit these types of paintings quite a lot. Just constantly adding layer after layer. It's nice. Now, I think I want to make a bit more of a rounded shape there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smooth it out a touch. There we go. Now, don't like that. Okay. I think what I'll do is, while I'm here, let's put a little bit of a dark blue in the center of that. A little bit of a glaze just in here. Let's give that some shape in there. And a little bit down to that base here. Let's bring that up a touch. Okay, now let's go along all these edges here with a grey, green, a grey green. Just right up along here. They call me mellow yellow. Okay. Okay, folks, now that I've got this far, I am going to put in some of the smaller highlights up and along here, just the highlights. Now, in order to do such a thing, I need a small liner brush, and I am looking for, here it is here. Okay, now I don't know if this is exactly the one I'm after, but it looks enough like it. It is one of those extended points. So I'm going to be using some mineral spirits. I'm going to be working in and around here, just adding a little bit of the lighter colors. Okay, let's see now what this is like. That's perfect, that's good. That's dead on, just for the time being. Lots of back and forward here from the palette. Okay, yeah. All right, so just going to create a thin straight line. Just want to try something. No, not bright enough. There we go. And I just want to start adding some proper blades of grass in, but I'll work more up in the corner up in here first before I do such a thing. Now what I need is a small, right, here we go, got one. Right, this is a Rosemary & Co. size 1, series 3, 1 and 5. 3, 1 and 5. So I'm looking for a bit of an inky consistency. The viscosity of ink. Now, I don't know if I've achieved it or not. I shall tell you in a momento. That's okay, I think. And no, I think not. No, need more paint. Need more paint. I'm after a grey green here, just up in here. A little bit grayer than this green here, and a little bit brighter, just so we can throw on the little bits of grass sticking out. There we go, look at that. These are just the little scraggledy bits that you see up in these places. So far away that they really don't say anything or do anything. But they are there. Yeah, I just knocked them back a touch. Look at that. Lovely jubbly, eh? Lovely jubbly. Right. A bit of ultramarine here, just to cool it down a bit. I just. Okay folks, back to this. Now, this is the following day, so it's somewhat dry for me, but I'm not happy with this area here. So I'm going to do something to make myself happier with it. And up and around here too, just darken certain areas, just reshape a few things. So I'm going to begin by reshaping this area up here. So a cool dark, black, ultramarine blue, a little bit of raw umber. And then I'm going to thin it out so it becomes semi-transparent. with some, what do you call that now? Liquid. So let's see now. I want it a bit bluer than this. I want you to see the coolness in it comparatively to the things sitting beside it. So now I've just got a dagger brush here. Nothing special. I think it is a Dealer Rowney, I'm not sure. No, it's a Zoo Tang artist brush. Nothing special, folks. I'm going to just slightly reshape this area here first, just to begin with. Give me a wee bit more, make it a wee bit more like the photograph. There we go. Just darkening that a touch. Now I'm going to darken the highlights a bit as well, but this is going to be quite transparent. So I'm just going to be and then I'm going to wipe it off. Just so as you can see the darkened areas there. Let me see. It's not so bad. Okay, and then I'm going to take a bit of a cloth and just slightly dab it off. So it has a slightly darker tone to it. And let's continue on with this side here. Now let me see. I think I would like that to be a bit bluer. Now, I'm not too happy with the shape of this this tree. It's not too bad, but it's not just where I want it to be. So I'm going to redo it. Especially that I'm looking at the photograph here, so I'm going to be doing it with that in mind. Okay. Basically, almost completely covering up the work that I had done, just so it can come in with a bit of a greener, a bit of a better highlight on it. Didn't like the way I shaped the highlights, so I'm doing it in a better way for myself now. Let me see. Maybe a bit brighter. Maybe. Bit more of a grey green, so I'm putting a little bit of oxide red on it. Just to let me see if I can grab some. I don't want to grab too much though. That's a bit better. Okay, let's see now. That's a bit better. Happier with this now. At least for now. I'll probably be unhappy with it by tomorrow. Let me see. Okay. Just trying to follow the shapes of the reference photo. Okay. A bit darker shading in here. Yeah, same again now. Only a little bit bluer in this one. A little bit of a blur on cooler green, as you can see that it is. Maybe a bit of phthalo. A bit of cerulean. Okay. And then just finish this off. Right, okay. That's fine. I'm happier with that one. Yes. Now what I'm not happy with is, where is it? There's too much in this here area here. So I'm just going to slightly darken this down a bit, just covering some of this. Too many brights in it for the time being. I'll come back and I'll redo that. Now, I think I'm okay with the way everything is here, along here. So I'm going to work in this area here. Right, so let me see, where are we? I think I'm not happy with the algae here on this little area here. So I'm going to be making myself happy with it. This is all a very light transparent glaze that I'm putting down here. Nice dark, and by the way, I'm going to be lightening this area too, just a touch. Right, okay, so I want to see where I am here. I want to work on this. Looking for a brush, folks. I want to work on this algae here. I'm not happy with it, but I'm looking for a small, sharp brush. This'll do. It's just a wee dagger brush. Okay, so let's create some edges on this. Just dabbing them in. Bit better. Let me see, let me see. Okay, now sharper edges. I think they're too soft around the edges for my liking at the time being. Okay. Yeah, that to me is a bit better. I'm going to highlight it a little bit in areas. Just the odd streak of highlight. A little bit of liquid, help it come off the brush a bit easier. All right, okay. Now let's get the grasses in. Just thinking to myself, Right, well, I'm going to mute the mic and just carry on working here, folks.